River Island's guest line. How awesome is JLC that she'll come on right before a game? There's a game in less than 3 hours, and she is live inside the wires of the substation as we speak, getting ready to talk to us here on 95.7 The Game. Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glowing because I'm near the substation.
Yeah. Did you have okay, I'm sure you're super busy today, and this is I don't want to make it about this. We're having a weird day because we did not realize the Pablo Torre podcast investigation came out today, and apparently the wee infancy stages of this entire story came from a side remark from John Feliciano on our show 11 months ago. We had no idea that started here, and I'm kind of embarrassed about it, to be honest with you.
So it's all your fault.
Totally.
It's all your fault.
And I didn't, I want nothing to do with this, but it's on us.
Wow. Now we know the origin story.
Sorry, Jennifer. Sorry.
Wow. I don't know if I can be on the show again anymore.
Well, you can be, but just send us your doctor's bills after we're done.
Okay.
How you doing, and how do you see the 49er injury story? Because I hear a lot of people on the inside say, look, some of these injuries are not injuries, they're load management. What do you think?
I mean, I think they're being safe with all the guys, right? They obviously had one major one. That was Ricky Pearsall. Knee came back, and he just posted video or photos of him, successful surgery. He had his family with him, so he's in the hospital room post-surgery, giving the thumbs up. So that's positive. It's just going to take, about a year for him to get healthy. And, it's like all these other, and Tim Ryan's walking by me right now with a shoulder sling on.
Oh, gosh.
Willard and Dibbs. Oh.
Stay away from the substation, Tim.
Man. They're saying it's the substation. They're right.
Yeah. They're right. There it is. Man. Tim Ryan, ladies and gentlemen, confirmed.
T-Rock in a sling. Boy. It's tough.
Oh, Lord.
Just perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Gosh.
So, I mean, it's just this whole substation thing, and I don't know if you've been somebody who believes that it's a thing, but Pablo Torre, I think, kind of debunked it. Is there any chatter about that among the players or anybody else that you talk to down there?
No. I mean, actually, everybody kind of makes fun of it. It's like you take pictures of the players, and right behind them, the background is the substation. So, I mean, everybody jokes about it, but honestly, it's Ricky Pearsall is the one season ender, and the rest of the injuries that are being dealt with are nicks and bruises and strains and pulls. And, it's about guys moving in football ways, and they haven't done it since February. I just saw Mike Evans walk through. He had just gone through a workout. The starters aren't playing today, so they were out there on the practice field doing their workouts. And then now they're kind of coming into the locker room and, showering up because they're going to be on the sidelines during the game. So a lot of the starters out on the practice field near the substation working out before the game starts. But you're going to see a lot of backups playing, a lot of rookies. So, Kyle Shanahan said none of the starters are playing. Now, Christian McCaffrey, just some tightness. They don't need to have him play during the preseason. Nick Bosa's never played during the preseason. So these guys, they just don't do that. And yes, they're being safe with him, but it's all strains, some pulls, but nothing major that's going to keep a guy out for a long time.
Jennifer, okay, if no starters are playing, do we know in every case who the starters are? Like, what about the guys who are competing for starting spots? And then obviously throw Dejon Stribling into that question as well.
Yeah, I would think the rookies play. So even though Dejon Stribling probably is going to end up getting a lot of reps, I don't know whether he'd be like a locked-in starter. I mean, at this point, probably with Ricky Pearsall out, but I would think that he'd get some snaps. Probably some of your D-line guys that are younger will probably play as well. But, the guys that are veterans like Mike Evans, Christian McCaffrey, those guys wouldn't have played anyways. Nick Bosa wouldn't have played anyways. So Trent Williams is going to be on the sideline, probably Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw also watching from the sidelines. But, the guys that are competing are probably going to be out there.
Is there any sense that there's much of a camp battle at any spot outside of maybe left guard?
Safety isn't locked down. Malik Mustafa has been out with a hamstring strain, and then it's been Marquise Siegel and Jair Brown in there. So they're trying to figure out, who's going to start next to Malik. So there's that. Bernardo Green, there was question about whether he was going to be the guy next to Demo, but he's been playing really well. It's been like a new Bernardo Green. He's talked about how being in Raheem Morris's scheme has really helped the defensive backs. And they're all talking about playing faster. And I think it's honestly the most improved position on the team right now is defensive backs, safeties.
Jennifer, what are we seeing from Mac Jones tonight? How much time is he getting?
Maybe a series or two. I mean, he's played a lot during practice. And, the most important part of this week for the 49ers was their joint practice with the Titans. Brock Purdy had an excellent day. I mean, he completed a ton of passes, touchdowns to Demarcus Robinson. Debo was out there. I don't think he plays either. But just a really, really solid practice from Brock Purdy. I think Mac Jones, maybe a series or two just to make sure that receivers like Dejon Stribling, Jordan Watkins get play with the guy who has been a starter out there. But I don't think he's out there for too long.
And looking at like Demarcus Robinson, I would imagine that he wouldn't play. And I'm just a little concerned about the running back room. And we know that the top three guys estimated on the depth chart won't go. Is it Patrick Taylor Jr. getting 27 carries tonight?
There is going to be quite a bit of that, I think so. Patrick Taylor Jr., it's Sincere McCormick, Khalil Herbert, and they just signed Kazir White yesterday. So you're going to get, I would assume that he's probably going to get some snaps, even though he was just signed yesterday, just because they need bodies out there. It was funny, during the practice, I was on the 49ers offensive side and the Titans defensive side, and the Titans must have been jawing to Mike Evans and saying, hey, you guys can't run against us. And Mike Evans, I don't know what they said, but Mike Evans' response was, hey, man, we got no running backs right now. So, there is a general knowledge that there are, the top four guys are out, and four if you include Isaac Grenda, who's an IR still.
Jennifer Lee Chan is with us here on Willard and Dibbs 95.7 The Game. Jennifer, how has that affected what we're going to see in theory come week one? Like the setbacks for Kalen Black and Jordan James mean what for them early in this season?
I think they'll still get used. I think they'll still get out there. Kalen Black looked really good on the field. He's got a lot of bursts. He can run the same routes like Christian McCaffrey does. Not saying he is Christian McCaffrey, but a lot of those things that they ask Christian McCaffrey to do, Kalen Black can do them as well. And high praise from Bobby Turner, who does not give compliments lightly. He said before the injury, he was doing a good job. So that says a lot from Bobby T.
Christian McCaffrey has led the league in touches twice, and each subsequent year he's gotten injured. Have you gotten any sense that they're going to kid glove him or bubble wrap him at all this year, or are they just going to let him run hog wild again, JLC?
I mean, the thought is that, Debo Samuel's arrival will kind of take some of the pressure off him because he's going to do some jet sweeps and end arounds, and we've already seen it. Debo's been running out of the backfield just because Christian was out of practice for the last 2 or 3, and then the other two guys, Jordan James and Kalen Black, those guys have been out. But I think once they get healthy, week one is still a ways away, so they could get healthy before that. I've seen them both running on the side field. Christian McCaffrey's been out there. He doesn't look concerned. He was just out there kind of doing some agility stuff, movement stuff on Tuesday when we were out here for the joint practice.
Jennifer, I know we still haven't seen a whole lot of Christian Kirk, but that's a veteran guy. I'm assuming that'll get better at some point. So we're so interested in the receiver room. So Evans, Debo, Kirk, Demarcus Robinson, and obviously Dejon Stribling. That's 5. Who else makes this team at that position?
I mean, Jordan Watkins is a guy who's gotten a lot of reps during camp. He's looked pretty good, and he's a possibility for a returner. I think whoever wins that punt return job has a chance to, that's how they get on the 53. Jordan Watkins has been doing that, but also there's Will Pauling, who Leonard Hankerson called one of the most physical guys in the room. So Junior Bergen was just released. He had an opportunity to do it through punt returning, but maybe they brought in the running back because they needed one for this game for the preseason, and maybe Junior Bergen comes back. He's the guy that they drafted, last year that they thought would be their returner. Jacob Cowing is another guy who's dealing with, I think, a groin issue, adductor. And so when he gets healthy, he also has a chance to be on the roster as well.
Yeah, has Cowing just gotten hurt maybe one too many times here? I feel like this weight is probably starting to get frustrating for the team.
I'm sure it is, but I mean, every time he's been healthy, he's looked really good. So I think they're just waiting for that time. It's always a little something where it's, the hamstring was really bad last year, and he had the hamstring issue the year before. This year, he just had an adductor strain, I believe. And so, I think they really would like to give him a shot. They'd like to see him out there for a few games to see what he can do. But yes, he's got to stay healthy first.
Tight end's a big question mark because of George Kittle's status. If Kittle's not able to go come week 1, how do you see that position shaping up?
I mean, Luke Farrell has been so much better this season. And I think it's, just his second season in the system, but also Braden Willis. I mean, Braden Willis and Jake Tonjes have both had a ton of catches. The other day it was kind of funny. Fred Warner was kind of baiting Brock and kind of talking some smack to him because he always does. And Brock was kind of dishing it back a little bit. We couldn't hear what Brock was saying, but then Brock continually hit Luke Farrell in the middle of the field right next to Fred Warner. So there's that little cat and mouse game. But I think all three of those tight ends are very capable. Luke Farrell's known for being a better blocker. Tonjes has great hands. And Braden Willis has had a really, really nice camp. He's been out there with the 2s and 3s, but he's been making a lot of catches out there.
Jennifer, I think one of the real curious spots is the change at defensive coordinator. How do you feel the defense will look different in going from Robert Saleh to Raheem Morris?
I think they started it last year. It wasn't just a 4-man front. It was 5, and, they were doing some different things, switching it up, and that's what Raheem Morris is doing. I also think, like I said earlier, the biggest difference is how quickly and how much more fast the defensive backs can play. He's taken a lot off their plates. He's made them learn all 11, which seems basic, but it's what Bobby Turner does on the other side of the ball as well. So for those defensive backs, know what everybody's doing, trust that their help is going to be there on whatever side it needs to be, then what the receiver that they're covering, the options that they have to cover are much more limited. So they're able to play faster. It's not as much analyzation. It's really just playing ball.
Kyle Shanahan has been through it, obviously, from the accident and now coming back. Where would you put him as far as the normal activity that you're used to seeing Kyle Shanahan do at a practice?
Pretty normal. He's not calling plays, so he doesn't have the walkie-talkie, but he's got the play call sheet in his hand. He's watching the practices. I mean, honestly, if you didn't know that Kyle Shanahan had been in an accident and you went to a training camp, it'd be exactly the same as it was the last 9 years. It's running like it always has. And I think that, his presence and the people around him that have normally been running things have just done a really nice job. So Chris Furster has been a long-time coach. Clay Kubiak's been as offensive coordinator for a long time. It's just, Brent Boyer has been a special teams coordinator for quite some time. So it's really not a huge leap. They've just been, running like as normal.
Just one follow-up. What do you think of the mustache?
Pretty funny. I think he said the other day, he's like, yeah, everybody's joking that it saved his life because a little extra padding there on his face. But yeah, it's funny to see him with the mustache. He said, sometimes he usually cuts it off before he gets to training camp, but it's lasted a little longer this time. But eventually he said he's going to shave it off.
Jennifer Lee Chan, everybody. Hey, Jennifer, this might be a weird question and maybe you don't know the answer, but I thought I'd try. Do you have a sense of what the 49ers have put toward, in terms of resources, these studies on the substation? How much have they spent, for example?
I don't know how much they've spent, like, monetarily, but I do know that before owners' meetings, John Lynch told him that they brought in a scientist who did his own studies, and they likened him to Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future, who is very, very peculiar and but very intense. And, when they were asking him about it, do you want the long answer or the short answer? And so he was very intense and said that it's basically the same amount of frequency as there is inside the building. Sometimes in certain places inside the building there was more because there was more machinery. He said out by the practice field and in the weight room there really wasn't much. So I mean, I don't think they're trying to cover anything up. I think they tried to do everything possible to make it as healthy as an environment as they can. You know, they just blew out the backside of the locker room to put in more hydrotherapy. They've hired more physical therapists and massage therapists, acupuncturists. You know, they needed more one-on-one care for the players, and that's what they've done. So I don't think the Niners are, you know, going to skimp on taking care of their players and making sure that they're as healthy as they can be.
And did this guy had like hair going in different directions and arrived in a DeLorean or what? Like what?
I didn't see him, but that is how John Lynch described him to us.
Okay.
So that's the immediate picture is like, crazy hair, lab coat. And so he kind of likened into that. So, I mean, you know, he probably takes his job very seriously. I wouldn't think he was trying to, you know, BS his way through that. So.
And it's all our fault.
Man.
Don't.
Going to really make me second guess coming on your show again.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, just will you send us a picture of your health insurance card, please, before you head to the game? We're going to need it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Jennifer, it's always fun to hear your voice. Thank you.